President-elect Donald J. Trump has just proven once again to start off 2025. Let's show how much money doesn't buy class when it comes to being completely tactless and also lying regarding the passing of Jimmy Carter. In this breaking story I'm going to show you in just a few seconds, it is amazing. The man doesn't even have to lie, but he invents lying for himself because it is such a habit. And when you try to compare, in terms of the grace of a human being, the difference between Jimmy Carter and Donald J. Trump, you have to start with Uranus and the distance to Earth. I'm going to show you that story in just a few seconds, but let's be reminded about the guy who's completely tactless, talking about how unfair everyone's been to him, but then again, what he's going to do to them.
Look at the way I've been treated lately, especially by the media. No politician in history has been treated worse or more unfairly.
And in the race for the White House, Donald Trump speaking about retribution and revenge tonight. The former president is back on the campaign trail for the first time since he was convicted on 34 felony charges of falsifying business records. In an interview, Trump dodging a question about whether he would order the Justice Department to prosecute Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who brought the case that led to his conviction, saying, quote, "We're going to see what happens." In another interview, Trump implying if he's reelected, he will seek payback against Democrats, including President Joe Biden.
Look, when this election is over, based on what they've done, I would have every right to go after them. And it's easy because it's Joe Biden.
Former President Donald Trump mocked former President Jimmy Carter during one of his recent speeches. The jab came on Carter's 100th birthday.
Yeah, once again, lack of grace on any level. But on top of that, Trump is so classless and so tacky and full of non-grace that during the campaign trail just now, he wants to denigrate Joe Biden, and to do so, he slaps Jimmy Carter in the face with a backhanded compliment, not.
And you're seeing the most incompetent administration in history, the absolute worst president in the history of our country. They rate vice presidents too, and she's rated last, but he's rated last. Worst president. Jimmy Carter is the happiest man because Jimmy Carter is considered a brilliant president by comparison.
Trump's remark came as Carter was honored as the longest living president, celebrating a century of life. According to reports by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, when asked if he wanted to live to see his 100th birthday, Carter told his son, Chip Carter, "I'm only trying to make it to vote for Kamala Harris."
So in this breaking story, Donald Trump was just now asked out loud, are you going to attend Jimmy Carter's funeral? And this breaking story just goes to show how much of a lying sack he truly is, because we know the Carter family is no fan of his.
Carter funeral next week? Do you plan to go to President Carter's funeral?
I'll be there. We were invited.
Have you spoken with any Carter family members?
I'd rather not say.
You see, what you have to be clear about in this piece, which is really important, is Donald Trump was asked a very simple question. Are you going to attend the funeral? And he said, yes, I'm planning on attending it. Now, any human being who actually knows he's lying, and any individual who actually knows he really wasn't invited, would have just answered that question as a smart politician and walked away. But oh no. Donald Trump, because his ego is so freaking huge, it overrides his lack of intelligence. I mean, the dude does not have that big of an IQ, but it overrides his intelligence because he has to offer out that he needed to say, we were invited. And because he said that, it prompted the question, have you heard from any of Carter's family members? And then he's forced to say, caught in a lie, that he invented himself. He didn't have to put himself in that situation, and he did. And because that reporter screamed out, have you heard from any of Carter's family members? He then is forced to say, I'd rather not say. Because you haven't, because they don't want your orange orangutan lying sack of POS butt there. That's why. Folks, if that is emblematic and will become metaphorical of what we're going to face times 100 from his first term over the next 4 years, it indeed is exactly what we're going to face. Someone who knows they're lying, knows they're disingenuous, and knows the truth, and sets themselves up for having to tell even more lies just to pad his own ego, because he'd like to believe that Carter's family members in any way, shape, form, or fashion would want him at their father's funeral, and they do not. Stay calm, hang in there, stay frosty.